Sara, welcome to One Life Club. I've been looking forward to this interview because I know what it takes to make any business a reality. And you know, when we are all dreaming of starting a business, our enthusiasm is so high, we are so motivated, but most of the times we don't know what really reality is going to be when we started.
Yeah.
So to make any business into profitable one takes a lot, and you have definitely done that. So tell us more about the business and how it all started.
So I started Bak'd back in 2018 after I had my first son. I was previously working in marketing, but I've always wanted to start my own business, just never knew what I wanted to do. But this came about from my love of sweets. I have a big sweet tooth. I love making cakes. I love eating cakes. And so I started back in 2018, and then fast forward into COVID, all events were on hold. We couldn't really operate as a business. And so I was kind of looking for things to do during COVID and stumbled across this crystal candy. And so started making that as a little fun hobby. Didn't do much with it until a couple of years later when sort of TikTok was, going crazy and blowing up. And it was just all over my social media because it was just such a big craze in the US. And I just thought, I've made this before. There is an opportunity here in Australia that nobody is, at the time, nobody was making and selling it here. And so I just saw this little gap in the market where I could maybe hop in. And so I just started sort of selling it and started on Etsy. So sort of still doing my cakes on the side, but kind of going into this little niche. And yes. I remember having a chat with my husband one night about, I just said to him, I think I'd made $1,000 that day. I was like, I've made $1,000 selling these crystals today. And he was just like, a little light bulb must have went off in his head. Like, well, how many did you make? How much did you sell? And he started asking me all these questions. And he's like, you're missing, there's an opportunity here. Like, you've got to be making more. Because, yes. Yeah. And so he started helping me because it's just such a time-consuming process. It's very laborious. But, the rest is history. We just kind of, come 2024, I was like, all right, we're going to be full steam ahead with our business and focusing on crystal candy. And so I no longer make the cakes and all that other stuff. And it's just been a wild ride, but so exciting. And
do you think having a marketing background helped you a lot?
I think it does. It's when I look at the bigger picture, I think it definitely does, because obviously, yes. I was always in an account manager role, working with people, managing clients and sometimes very high up people. And so I think even just having those communication skills, has definitely helped. At the time, it's hard to see, but then when I look back, I'm like, for sure, all those years working in that role has definitely helped me making business decisions now. So, yeah, absolutely.
Sara, what would you say is easier? Working for somebody else or running your own business?
Easier? Probably working for someone else, yeah.
Because obviously when you are working for yourself, there's nothing to fall back on. If you don't make money, you don't eat. Simple as that. So you kind of got no choice to actually make business work, because otherwise you got two little children and they need to eat. So you kind of got no option but to actually push through. When you were starting your business, your expectations, like anybody else, was high. Did you think it would be the way it is now before you started?
No way. To be honest, my expectations were probably very low. I really started this off as a hobby. It was always a hobby business. It was, just something I did for fun. It probably wasn't until things started taking off at the beginning of sort of end of last year, beginning of this year, that I was like, right, this could actually go somewhere. It was always just something for fun, a little creative outlet. So it's crazy to think in such a short period of time how much has changed. And where
Yes.
we've come. Yeah. I'm
Being
very,
in business now, being in business now, what, for almost 5 years, correct?
yeah.
What would be your biggest lesson?
I think trust your gut.
Yeah,
There's
I
always,
always say that.
yeah, there's always, especially, I'm making an edible product, customer service, like I'm dealing with people. I think just if in your gut, both ways with making decisions and then doing things differently, like now we're taking a lot of leaps, we're trying to grow and scale. And so I'm a very emotional person. I think with, I don't always look at the numbers. I'm like, we've got to do it. Let's just jump in. Whereas
Yes.
hubby sometimes more looks at the facts and the numbers.
Which you have to in business,
Yeah.
because you can, a lot of people focus on sales, but you can have $100 million turnover and make no money. So
Yeah.
those sales doesn't help you actually move forward with your business and grow
Yeah.
it, and not have a stressful life. What would you say would be your most stressful moment in last 5 years?
Oh, um, I don't know. I think just right now we're making some big decisions. It's probably right now. It's been pretty cruisy the last couple of years because
Yes.
it's been a hobby. But up until recent, now that we are really scaling, I think now it's becoming real. We're making big decisions that could impact us financially, negatively if things don't work out. And so there's always that
Yes.
little bit of element of the unknown of,
Yes.
is this going to work? Is this going to pay off? Are we going to be successful? What if this is just a fad and the business dies?
Yes.
So I think now it's becoming really stressful because we are making big decisions. But like I said, you got to trust your gut and use your intuition, because I can see this growing and I can see this business, I can see the big picture. And
And
I
what's
think
your
we just
gut?
got
What's your gut telling you?
to just go for it, just
I
to
think
get
you
in there. And if
already
I
you
don't
already
do it,
made a decision.
I will.
You
Yeah.
already made the decision. And you
Yeah.
look, I always say, in business when we are growing, I always say it's kind of easy, not easy. I mean, it's never easy, but when you build your business to a certain point and you just run it, let's say you have a $10 million turnover, whatever business has, and just to run it every year, stay the same, you kind of get into the routine and know how. But when you're constantly growing your business, all the money you're making, you're reinvesting, you're making it, reinvesting it, and you're just climbing this mountain. So you're facing all these challenges. But quite often I say, you're always one decision that breakthrough to make it real big. And when you get that momentum, there's no going back.
Yeah.
There's no going back. You just gotta push through as hard as you can. Now, question for you: in life, decisions we make reflects our entire, sometimes entire future. Do you enjoy business? Do you think you made the right decision to be in a business world, being entrepreneur and running your own race?
Yeah, absolutely. Ever since I was a little child, I've had a job since I was 14. Since before the legal working age, I have always wanted to work. I've always loved working. And I remember talking to my dad when I was young about running my own business one day. But for such a long time, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I've had a lot of chats, even with previous managers when I was working in jobs, about, I want to run my own thing. I just
Yes.
hadn't settled on an idea and kind of felt a little bit lost along the way of like, what
Yes.
am I
Yes.
going to do? What am I going to, what can I sell online? And
Yes.
working in digital marketing, I had a lot of experience with e-commerce.
Yes.
And so I knew that was something, a passion area. I loved the online space. Everything is measurable. I used to sit in Google Analytics every day in my job, running reports for other people, pulling out numbers, and
And now you're doing it for yourself.
yeah, good.
And they better look good. They,
I
they
love it.
better look good. there's no right or wrong, working for somebody else, if that makes you happy, don't do
Yeah.
anything, because if a lot of people do what you do and what I do, they'll have nerve breakdown and they might not be happy and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But, and I always say in business, you got to have a stomach for it, to actually go and break through and keep going. What advice would you give to younger Sarah who wants to start in this business world?
I would have said start way sooner. Just don't get comfortable in your day job. That's why I never started earlier, because I had my full-time job. It was secure. I was, I would have just said, just do it. Go for it. Don't be scared. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you fail, because there's always learnings to come out of it. So it's not really failing, it's learning and growing.
I think the art in entering business world is learning how not to be disappointed and not how to beat yourself up too, because you will
Yeah.
make mistakes and you might fail. But if you beat yourself up and if your confidence goes low, you might not start again. And you never know, you're maybe just 1 centimeter away from actually making something happen. How do you balance, or if there's such a thing as a balance, being a mom to 2 little ones, and you got a partner, beautiful husband? How do you manage all that, and how do you juggle it all and run a quite good sized business?
I don't know. Some days,
Superwoman.
oh, I wouldn't say that. Look, some days I feel like I'm failing and I have all the mum guilt. I feel like I've ignored my kids and all I do is work. And sometimes, sometimes my son tells me, you love your work more than me. And that kills me because I don't. And so
but at the same time, you are working for them and their future.
We tell them everything we do is for you boys. But I'm still learning to find that balance, and it is hard, but we do get a lot of support from our family. We're very fortunate to have, parents to help us as well. But it's not easy. It's just, and you know what, a lot of the time, that's why we work late at night, because we will have those few hours between after school, dinner time, bedtime, and then we kick on again from 9-10 p.m. and we'll do till 2 a.m. Once the kids are asleep. But it's not easy.
Look, but you got no choice. You just got to make things happen. You know what I mean? And you have chosen this road. You guys decided we want to start our own business and go and conquer the world. Well, there's a price to pay. And one of them is try to manage, having family and growing the business and, still being a good mom and good friend and good wife and husband and so on. But it's the life that we chose, and just get on with it. You know what I mean? Make things happen. And that's it. You've been an amazing member of OneLifeClub, and it's always I always love when our members, which is all of our members, doesn't matter how much you know, and doesn't matter where your business is, you still want to learn more, and that's what it comes down to as well. How can we be better tomorrow? It's always good talking to you, and I love hearing all of our members' story, because all of us. We've been fighting one way or the other to come better on the other side of the tunnel, really. And I definitely look forward to seeing you grow, and just gotta keep freaking going.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so excited to be part of OneLifeClub, and it's just an amazing community, and there's so much to learn.
And I feel like I actually got goosebumps while you're talking, because like all of our members, I feel like we are starting to just become one big, family, and and because everybody is pushing each other as well, which is always great to see, because quite often, we lose ourselves in our own business, that we don't have many people that can support us, or at least that we can see. But keep going, and it's been absolutely pleasure talking to you, Sara.
Thank you, Emil. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Bye.